I congratulate you and commend you on your bold initiative to improve the lives of the women.
It's good to see you again on another riveting episode of Women, Power and Politics. My name is Sweetie Abochi, and on this program I engage some of the most influential women in Ghana and beyond who are doing marvelous things in their various industries. This morning I am privileged to be sitting with a woman who wears many hats. She's been an actress, a producer, screenwriter, and now she's a politician. She was also the Deputy Minister for Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts. I'm sure by now you already know who I'm speaking about. Ablah Dzifa Gomashie, thank you so much for making the time.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's really a pleasure because I grew up watching you, and I am privileged really to be chatting with you to get insight into your life and your role here in Parliament as we speak. So let's start with a simple question. If you had mentors, and how did they influence the life that you have now?
Well, first of all, that intro was like a jolt. You said women in power. I'm not sure that I'm in any power though. I think that I accept all the others, but the power bit, maybe it's yet to come.
You are in power because when we pivot into your role here in Parliament, all the committees that you sit on are very important. You used to be on the Poverty Alleviation Committee. That's
my favorite, actually.
Yes.
Except that they collapsed it.
Yeah. But here we are now.
Yes,
so
indeed.
yes, you're a woman in power.
Thank you. Thank you. So, like most people will say, your parents are your first role models. And for me, it is what it is. My mother, we used to tease that our father was a soldier. I was born in Bema camp. Even though she'd never wore the green uniform, she was more the soldier than my dad. She was strict, she was a disciplinarian, and she liked to remind us that she gave birth to us. She taught me everything I know about being a woman, being an Ablah woman, because it's not the same as being an Nzema woman, because you have to then know how to cook acheke, or eat it. And if you're an Anglo girl, then you should know how to do at least another chideke. So she taught me what it meant to be an Anglo woman and how to carry myself. And where she realized that she herself didn't match up, she would point me to the people who did. And that for me was very empowering from a very young age. She retired from teaching and was also into sewing. I can't stitch a button to save my life. And when all that was done, she sold cereals at the Medina market.
So like you, she also wore many hats.
She did. She was so entrepreneurial. And one day I told her that I didn't think that I wanted to be in the market to follow her footsteps in that space. And so anytime we only had GTV. She would point me to some news item that had a woman who had done something and say, you want to be like them, you have to learn. So she directed me to where my nature was. I also, beginning to sound like a broken record, I like to say that my mom is the one who let me know that I was born a creative. She said that I popped out of her womb dancing. And so she made me know who I am from a very young age. And I think that was really the light, the window that I needed to see myself and which direction to go in. And as fate will have it, I failed my first O-level, and I had to make money now to rewrite my O-level because they had retired and money was hard to come by. So,
and if you failed once, the second time it's on you now.
It's on you. It's on you. And so between now that you mentioned that, between when I failed that first O-level and when I finally wrote it to go to university was 10 years.
What?
Yeah, 10 years of navigating all the other things that you've mentioned that I did. But it's all good because it all prepared me for the woman that I am today.
Okay.
I was also lucky to have met amazing women in this country who perhaps unconsciously molded me to be bold and fearless. I was born like that, but meeting those women made it seem okay. Even if I thought before that I was odd,
Yeah.
in a sweet sense, like your name.
Thank you.
They made it okay for me to be strong and bold. Mrs. Rawlings,
Oh.
Mami Dokuno, Grace Omabo.
You produced her, the show, By the Fireside.
Yes, By the Fireside.
Yes, you did.
Yes. Alexander Dre of blessed memory. She was an actress also. Then there was President Rawlings from a distance because I worked with his wife.
Yeah.
And he was our president for so long, you couldn't help but appreciate the man behind what you see publicly. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So these are role models that did not necessarily have to hold my hand and say, go and do this or don't do this. But because of how they carry themselves, I had the benefit of watching them and wanting to be like them or better.
Okay.
Yes.
And so these things that she did, producing, writing, navigating so that you could make ends meet and make money to rewrite O-level, would you say that, or let me just say exploring the creative arts industry, have they in any way influenced your life now as a politician?
In many ways. So I had the benefit of reading published plays and performing in a lot of them.
Yeah.
I'm more a theater person than film.
Okay.
So reading about how an individual can make a difference came out strongly when I performed in these plays, like The Trial of Kwame Nkrumah, Jogolo, Chaka the Zulu, Black Star. Black Star is also about Kwame Nkrumah. So, and of course, when I was in my teens, for some strange reason, I loved reading Shakespeare. Shakespeare's plays, yeah. And you would see in those plays and
which was your favorite?
It would be hard to say which is my favorite, but Julius Caesar comes out strongly.
Okay.
Mainly for a particular line that says there's no art to find the mind's construction in the face.
On the face, yes.
And that it's good I came across that at a very young age, probably 15 years. When I read that, I knew not to take people just because of what they appeared to be, and to be deep and think before I believe what I hear and see. So that made me critical of everything, myself and others. So I saw through those plays that individuals can make the world a better place.
Right.
And you didn't have to wait for everybody to agree with you to make that difference that you believe strongly should be. And I'm Christian, I'm a Catholic. All the people in the Bible too who were found by God didn't find themselves worthy, but they were used to do certain things. And so, I think that my career has prepared me for this space that I'm in now, even more so than I ever thought.
Okay.
Yes.
There are very few women who play in this field, politics, and you happen to be one of those women. Now you're a member of parliament for Ketu South, and we are projecting that you've already won in the upcoming elections. But there are two things you said that I picked up on, that not to be afraid if you're not agreeable, or if you don't seem to be agreeable, and that because of that quote, there's no act to show the mind's illustration on the face. You thought yourself to be deep and think.
Yes.
Has that been a tool as a woman to navigate all the challenges that you have to encounter as a woman in politics?
Absolutely.
How so?
You know, they say politics is a dirty game. You listen, you hear it and you listen and you think, okay, so really, Nelson Mandela was a politician. Was he dirty? No.
No.
But that is a cliche that we hear. But it is murky in here.
Is it?
I mean,
Yeah.
look, what was it that
How murky is it?
very murky. I think it was Sir John who said fear delegates.
Yes, fear delegates.
And I'm hoping that soon all political parties will take away that power that we give to some people only, and then the collective comes. We tried it in NDC once, but I'm hoping that they'll try it again.
Okay.
But because there's no art to find a mines construction in the face, you're looking at people who are core to your campaign.
Okay.
All right? And amongst them, like Jesus found his Judas.
Your Judases are in there. And how
Except
do
that
you deal
one-
with that?
Oh, you know, one of my philosophies in life is that because I have no control over the sun rising tomorrow, things that happen that I'm not particularly happy about, I don't even let them go into my house with me, let alone my bedroom. So I usually, I'm ready to move on real fast and pick up the pieces and keep going.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Okay.
I hold no grudge, and I don't care if you hold a grudge against me. Sorry. I cannot allow you to take control like that.
Yeah.
So if I see that you don't particularly like me, well, that's your choice.
That's
you
your
have to
business.
deal with that. I'm not going to bother. But
Yeah.
you are not the do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So akpla is a cornmeal that I'm sure most Ghanaians know.
Yeah.
And you eat it with something like fresh tomato, pepper, onion,
Agbamataji.
tomatoes, right? Or some soup. And usually, I'm from Aplau. You remember that akplamu?
Okay.
So it will be difficult to eat that akpla that has no salt in it, with nothing. And since you are not that something that I'm eating my akpla with, you tell me
don't
why I
matter.
should. Oh, yeah, true. Looking in that here.
All right.
You
Look
see?
at indeed.
So I think that it's okay for you to be upset with me, as I am also upset with other people.
Okay.
But if you make a choice to let what I did become a crown or a cross to carry for the rest of your life, hey,
Yeah.
what an exercise.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to be the cross or the crown on my head either. This my small neck is to adorn myself.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's how I navigate this
Okay.
this murky waters. The good thing is that wherever you find the murkiness, you find the goodness. As you find day, you find night. So I focus on the good one and keep me strong.
Is it that we don't project the good parts of it as much as we project the murky side of politics?
I suppose. I suppose. We are just naturally a people who don't applaud and appreciate each other enough. Listen to me, my dear sister. Can I call you that?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Now that I'm talking about it, think about it too. It's in Ghana mostly that the MC of an event has to literally kneel down and beg us to clap for something that we have just seen. In everything. Give them a hand of applause. Can we clap? Can we? What? Look.
If you're moved, why don't you just clap?
It's incredible. It's unbelievable. Somebody's doing well, and then they make a little slip. Immediately, all the good things that you did, they don't matter anymore. We had to find reasons to add more pepper and more fire to why you should be. In fact, you should not even exist anymore.
There's something they call PhD, and I've
Pull him down?
yes, I've heard people say that it's something peculiar about Ghanaians. I don't like to believe it, but would you say that it's just a part of us? We don't like to see the next person proceed, and then we get into
I don't
some
think
of
there's. Culture is dynamic. Okay.
yes.
We are just not taught how to celebrate ourselves, let alone someone else. There's no concerted effort or no training, socialization of a sort. Even the things we say in some of our songs and our proverbs and so on don't make people look good. Look, I'm miavuawa miasinyi. Miavuawa miasinyi. Why would you say that you knew ya lafia kwa? Miabana never do leader ka azuadukbo. Okay, so this is what it means. When you become a leader, we are told that you become like a rubbish dump. So everything that they give to you, because you're a leader, endure it. True. Nakima.
You don't live by that.
Balaka. Nyanya nyuya la fia gojia.
Laka woi no nyuya na zuadukbo ha.
Who puts no, but think about it. Who puts anything valuable on adukbo? Amwana nyua kashinongwa. Mano na hogama bakponojiolu. O blended out vodama.
Akweda bachiata.
Kashinongwa na bodera dukwodia. Na mwanya kashinongwa. Jabana dabu bumwanchi.
That's right.
You see? So the things we say in some of our proverbs and songs, and in many ways, in many things, do not edify, do not celebrate. They don't promote.
Okay.
They don't. I mean, it's just to tell you to be careful. Can I be careful till I need some mistakes in my life to make me know where I've come from so I can be better. So it's okay to even say magayulu, and then if I dare to go and I fail, when I come back, say adabua. So have you learned some lessons? Do you see?
Yeah.
So then you are not making me feel, you're not even beating me when I'm down, but you are reminding me that learn.
Yeah.
It's different from a film. It serves you right. Is it right? So there has to be a way in which we correct to empower to do better.
How do we do that?
Oh, speak about it.
Okay.
Well, I hear a lot about me being a strong woman. I don't know what exactly you are all saying to me, but I know that I speak my truth, and I speak it because it's out of conviction. And I'm not waiting for approval to say that I believe that this is what should have been done. Plus, after I've said it, you can't make a choice to take or not take it.
There are certain things that men do, women do, but the adjectives that are used to describe those acts are different because of the gender that participates in it. So when a man speak up, he's bold, he's brave. A woman is arrogant and rude, and all that,
and brash, and all kinds of adjectives.
But anyway, I think we're changing the status
It's the
quo.
otherism.
Yes,
it's about the otherism. If it's someone else, then. But if it's you, then it's okay. Isn't that why they say we're our own enemies?
Yeah.
And yet men, in fact, they can stop their cars in the middle of the road and beat each other to pulp.
But nobody says that.
But they are not enemies to each other.
No. They're just venting their spleen. We do have to take a break, but before we go, I want to ask you, what is your proudest moment? What are you most proud of in first your years in the creative arts industry and your years in politics? 4 years now, I think, as a member of parliament. What are you most proud of?
Oh, yeah, that's a tough one. I think that whereas my mother recognized that this child of mine is creative, is in that space, it took my father a long time to accept that you know is true. My mother has been gone since 2014, but my father is alive. So when ACRAG, now we don't have it anymore, Entertainment Critics Association of Ghana, gave me an award, maybe 1990 something, 1990, I can't remember now, 92 maybe, or so. And I explained to my father what it meant. And he agreed to go with me to go and accept the award. I thought that was the award.
Oh.
He coming round now to see that, oh, so all this running and dodging me to go and dance and act, Ghana was watching.
Yeah.
So for me, when he accepted that I can't change this child to do what I want, I should support, and he and my late husband went with me to accept that award. I think it was a moment that I'll cherish forever.
Congratulations.
Politics. Oh, I think that Mr. Speaker asking me to, well, first of all, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, sir, thank you, nominating me to be his deputy minister for tourism, culture and creative arts, and Mr. Speaker, Right Honorable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbe, asking me to represent him at an international conference as a rapporteur.
Okay.
And it was my first year, I think.
In Parliament?
First or second year in Parliament, yes.
Wow.
And I went and came back, and when I wanted to report to him, he said that my work had preceded me and that he got a call from the organizers that I did fantastic. So,
see, a woman doing it all. But stay with us. We just take a quick break and we'll return on women, power and politics. I'm speaking to the Honorable Member of Parliament for Ketu South, Ablah Dzifa Gomashie. I'll be right back.
I congratulate you and commend you on your bold initiative to improve the lives of the women.
Thank you so much for staying with us, and you didn't miss anything, although although we're chatting behind. You're still watching Women, Power and Politics. My name is Sweetie Abochi, and I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a great time with the Ablah Dzifa Gomashie.
Thank you.
Now let's talk about your work in Parliament. You sit on the Privileges Committee, you sit on the Public Accounts Committee, the Trade Industry and Tourism Committee as well. What's your assessment of where we are as a nation in the face of some of the, for want of a better word, the scandals that are coming up these days? And how do you think the Ghanaian people feel about it? I'm talking about these SML deals coming up, tax exemptions for companies that it turns out that they are not even paying taxes to the country. Talking about 3.2 million euros ambulance cases. I'm talking about 30-something million to service ambulances. How do you think Ghanaian people feel about this? Also because you're a Ghanaian and you have children and I'm sure you engage with young people as well. What is your assessment of where we are?
I'm going to paraphrase something that Mr. Speaker said, respectfully, sir. He said that he was asking us if we can feel the mood of the people, we will behave better in the chamber. And I totally agree with him. I'm used to getting into trouble for the things that I say, but I may not be here tomorrow, so I better say them today. Yep. And stand for my conviction and my belief. I think we can all, as a people, do better. Both the leaders and the led. Sometimes this is so bad. I'm boxing people's mouths when I'm hearing them speak. Sometimes, in my head. Because I'm thinking you are either defending something that you should not be defending, or you should not be talking to us like we can't think. That hurts. And it's only because there are no repercussions for bad behavior in this country.
They're not?
Repercussions.
Well, the president said his approach is looking for evidence. So whatever is happening, if culpable people are not facing any sort of punitive measures, is because he doesn't have evidence enough to prosecute.
Can I ignore the president and his comments now, just so I don't disrespect him? Because who knows, my father may be listening. But I want to tell His Excellency the President that when you are no more the President of this Republic, you would come face to face with the reality of the kind of leadership you have offered this country. And I do pray that you find something small to be proud of. I'll leave it there and come back to your question about the mood of the people. I think that there's a lot of skepticism and a sense of frustration that the young people feel, and rightly so. When I was a child, my older siblings did get opportunity to work in a company that used to produce mosquito coil or so.
Okay.
Vacation job they had.
Okay.
They had vacation. Can you imagine? They had vacation jobs.
Yeah.
So they could earn something small before they went back to secondary school. And now, people have graduated from school and they can't find a job.
In fact, the Ghana Statistical Service latest report say that nearly 2 million young people are neither in employment, education, and then there's that Afrobarometer report saying that young people, 9 out of 10 people believe the country is going in a bad direction, and then there is the multi-dimensionally poverty that we're grappling with. Just to feed into your...
Yes, and it's really sad. It's really sad because I feel that the generation before mine, we've played a part in disappointing the young ones. But we have opportunity to right that wrong.
Okay.
We have opportunity to clean up our act. Look, na madaka dipodo de, omagbanaba juwa dipodo. If you alone can see so much money in your account or whatever you have invested in, the country is not full or is not satisfied with the wealth that you have because it's yours. And it's better, I feel that it's better that you pull us all along than individuals having unfettered access to the wealth of this country.
Are you saying then that our leaders are full and the people, populace, voting population, young people are hungry, but because they're full, they cannot see or feel our hunger?
How I wish I was the one who was saying it, because I would have said it in a worse way.
Fortunately,
I'm only speaking on behalf of the young people and the women of this country, who by nature are hardworking, except that we've squeezed them out of every space. I apologize to you for bringing in John Hughes and his show that he does on your sister station. Look, the reaction of Ghanaians wherever I go now is a reference to that and what they have seen and heard. And Mama, can you confirm that it is true? And I have to confirm that it is true. I'm embarrassed to confirm to the young people that indeed leaders of this country, we have to collectively accept that we have done a disservice to the younger generation. But I think, and you can read whatever you want into what I'm going to say, that's fine. I think opening up the Ridge Hospital, having the UGMC Hospital, the Afari Hospital, the Bank of Ghana Hospital, and all of these, were opening up the spaces for them to get employment. The fact that we didn't do the employment for those facilities that we did, does not mean that we are all that bad. We saw that there was a problem, that we needed to open up the space so we can get more employment. If you come and take over and all you think about is how interesting that the chickens have come home to roost so quickly. You accused us of doing family and friends. And my dear Joyce Bauer, a woman I totally admire and love, as far as I know, is the only relative of President John Dramani Mahama. Look at the numbers that are now being called. But don't let me digress on this leadership of our country that has failed the young people. But the young people must also begin to sit up and be counted.
Okay.
You can't, out of frustration, say, and they're all the same, and I'm not going to vote. And who are all the same? That in itself is an admission and a condoning of the bad behavior of our leaders.
Okay.
You should be able to speak up and say, this was good, this was bad. It doesn't have to be NDC is good or MPP is bad, or
NPP is bad, NDC is good, or the other way.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not about, it's almost like saying that Igbo people are bad. Hello.
Every tribe has good and bad people.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
now,
young people owe it to themselves to be bold enough to say, this went wrong and we are not happy about it, but this went right and we are happy about it. So as I said before, we celebrate the goodness that is in us. Don't let us just keep piling pity upon pity.
Okay. With the December election staring us in the face, you've been a leader in your constituency, my constituency,
Yes,
Ketu South,
yes.
for 4 years. And,
Well, Ketu has beautiful girls, see.
Oh,
and
yes.
we're smart too.
We are tough. All these issues that we are talking about, like bad leadership, poverty, discrimination, inequality, gender inequality and balances. How have you tackled these issues in just your constituency, and what's your plan to actually ensure that in December the constituent vote for you to retain you in office?
My constituents will retain me in office because I bring freshness, a different kind of leadership to them. We come from a very patriarchal community where women are usually not seen to be leading, even though we have a lot more of female-headed households.
Yes.
So the courage to even want to contest in that community. Actually, at the risk of sounding proud, the whole of the southern part of the Volta region have not brought one woman to this parliament of Ghana till I came in there.
Yes.
So I bring that leadership and that change of narrative that a woman cannot lead.
Okay.
I have led. And if the primaries of my my constituency is anything to go by, then I think it was an approval of my work. Because in 2019, I won the primaries with
500
30, no,
something.
31.
Oh, well, that was the actual election.
The actual, but the
election.
gap, I'm talking about the gap. The difference between my co-contestant and I was 31 votes in 2019. In 2023, same person, the gap, the difference, vote difference is 632. So that's an approval rating that I'm very thankful for.
But give me some specifics, just for those who are not familiar with the area. What specific thing, let's say three. What three specific things have you done for the Ketu South constituency?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the first would be the fact that I contested.
Yes. Okay.
It's
the gender issue.
The gender issue.
Right.
And leadership issue.
Okay.
And the fact that because I did, a lot more women in Volta region picked the form this in the south. In the south.
Yes.
Picked the form in the last thing. So for me, that's what one of the things that I set out to do.
Okay.
To break that ceiling and tell women that you can't do this. We can't lead. The other one is a belief in building the human capacity. The people that are from Ketu South who didn't think that they too can. I wanted to change that too. And so I do skills training. In fact, as for the skills training, the Ketu will tell you I was doing that way before I became member of parliament. So they've known me for that, and it hasn't stopped. And also supporting, because I keep doing contests among schools for years, and I kept telling them that don't be satisfied with finishing junior high or senior high. You can't go to university. The fact that your parents didn't doesn't mean you cannot. So if you are able to get admission, I'll give you a token. So in the first year, 99 people applied for support from my fund, and they got 1,000 cedis each. But no, 46 for the first time, and then they doubled the following year. The less they are, the more they get, because if it's 10,000, if 500 people come, they share that. If it's 10,000, if 200 people come, they have to share that.
So more like a price pool, and depending on the number of people who apply for it.
And because of that, I receive a lot of requests for that. They are happy to tell me they took the form. They picked the form to go to university. And I'm happy to say that I'm proud of you. There's a little something, so write officially and get this. And also, health is wealth. So I've invested a lot in health, and I'm sure that my director of health and the health sector of Ketu South will attest to this. Apart from infrastructure that I've invested in, is also support for outreach. So every year I do eye screening for people at no cost to the beneficiaries, and the list is huge. You should let me give you a copy of the list of the number of people. I'm talking hundreds. Hundreds of people
with eye problems.
With eye problems in Ketu. And this is because of some research I did on health of the people. And so I also have a huge network of people who donate medications to me, which I send to them.
I think you've given me more than 3 now.
So
well, there's the gender, there's health, there's education. And
shall we stop there?
And I've also seen your work with the flood victims. So you've been waxing lyrical about that as well.
Yes,
so
that was really depressing. And people thought it was politics. It wasn't politics. Well, I'm a politician right now.
Yes, you are.
But if I've gone somewhere, and I still have friends from my childhood, I've gone to a house to campaign. They've given me a stool. I've sat with them and we've talked, and I've told them why I want to contest, and they say, "Okay, Mama, where are you?" Now, and then I hear the tidal waves have hit, and I go there, and the house where I sat is not there.
Yes, completely.
You must be heartless not to feel that, you know. And it was back to back. Growing up, I would hear about the tidal waves coming. But for some strange reason, well, not that strange, because of global warming and climate change, it's frequent, more frequent than before. And so it's just been daunting. It's just been really daunting, just seeing that.
That's not part of your campaign focus this year. So what the flood victims, the health, these are things you're already doing. Education, health. So what is your campaign focus? What is the message for your campaign this year?
No, I'm not changing.
Campaigning. You're just continuing in what you're doing.
It's almost like asking me if I would change from being a girl to a boy. It's not going to happen.
Let me rephrase then.
Yes.
Do you intend to initiate or propose some policies, something new when you voted next into?
I'm latching on to the 24-hour economy policy. Because it's a game changer. And I've lived it. I own eateries. I used to cook. I love cooking. Well, nobody should doubt that, because I love eating. my weight attests to what I do. Well, it's okay. We can't all look pretty like Sweetie, right?
My God.
But I'm latching on to that 24-hour economy because when I had my eateries, the demand was there. There were people who didn't, like me, who didn't care that at 12 midnight, there's no clock in our stomach. We want to eat apple. Do you see? So for as long as I had the demand, I stayed open. But because it wasn't structured, it was an individual doing it. What President John Dramani Mahama is saying is that it will be more structured. So there will be incentives. So if you do, you have opportunity to have a shift of 3. And these people are all going to get off the street and get into proper employment. And that's how you build a country and its economy.
Okay. So you're latching on to the 24-hour
I am like
policy.
a leech. Did you grow up with saying Mami Dosu? I'm not getting Mami.
Is it Madam High Heels?
So,
what's Mami Dosu?
I do yesterday's. Yesterday's girl. So it was some parasite of a sort that, like lice, those days that we had lice, they enter the feet and the toes and so on. And yeah, and it was painful to those who had it.
Wow.
And they had to take it off. So that dotsu is like a tick on a dog.
And that's how you are latching on to.
I'm latching on to President John Mahama.
And now, although Ghana's laws actually promote equality and non-discrimination, there's still some big hindrances like financial constraints in terms of women, campaigning and participating in politics. And thankfully, that affirmative action gender equity bill 2024 has been. But congratulations!
Thank you.
You're a woman in parliament, and you passed that. So congratulations!
And you're a woman outside parliament who advocates for it too. So thank you too.
Yes, thank you. So, how would you say that it's more difficult for women to mobilize funds and campaign? Is that the reason why over the years we haven't seen a lot of women participating in politics? And then we'll take a break and come back.
It's all of that.
It's all of that.
It's all of that and more, maybe. It's sociocultural. It's economic. And it's political. And institutionalized.
Okay.
So there are many things that hinder women from taking on a task that they want to, and yet because you're conditioned that you can't do it, then you step back. So
in terms of financial, for example, how do you fund your campaign?
Okay, so I've been very industrious my whole life.
Okay.
Now you want me to cough out something. You know that I have even pictures to show for selling Kiliwili, even in Trinidad and Tobago.
You don't say.
I kid you not.
Okay.
If you ask, hey, I'm going to put myself in trouble. Stone Boy's wife, I've known her since she was a very young girl. She will also attest to
Louisa.
it. Dr. Louisa will attest to this. I cook jollof to sell. I've cooked kontomire stew with cocoyam to sell. So I used to travel to trade fairs. And whichever country I go to, I'll find vegetables that you have that we have in Ghana. And each country cooks it differently.
Yes.
And I'll cook it the Ghanaian way. I made a bit of cash doing those kinds of things. Yeah. So I've always been very industrious. And I'm very frugal too in spending. So I keep my own war chest. But I had unfettered and totally amazing support from my late husband when I was coming in. That he was my war chest. I mean, my personal financier. But I have support.
Do you have donors? Do you have people who sponsor you?
I don't have donors, but I have people who every now and again will say, let me do t-shirts for you. I'll do flags for you. Or I have this, come for it. So those come, but because it's not structured, you can't rely on that to plan.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was one of the shocks that I've come to see that it is lonely at the top, that you are left on your own. You're empowered, and women in leadership, and then you take the form and you are left alone, and you have to manage to do that.
Can that be discouraging for other women? They go the long haul, get to the point, they pick the form, nominations, and then it's time to actually campaign, and they just can't raise the funds.
I mean, look, let me spell it out. We do that. We do leave people alone for fear. And sometimes we're not even too happy for each other. I keep saying this, that we're going forward and doing things. But why is it that we before the affirmative action bill, we also said that we need more women in parliament, and so when they get into parliament, what do you do for them?
I was going to turn the question around and ask, the women who are already in parliament, how are they supporting each other?
I think that there's the flip side, how are men supporting each other? But there's no structured way of women in parliament supporting each other, where they have a certain cash there that they can all go and tap into. No, that's not.
But there's that acknowledgement that you are a minority in parliament.
We indeed. Sisterhood is there,
okay.
Friendship is there, across the divide.
Okay.
It would be hard for me to say that I haven't received not financial nor material support, but just a lot of encouragement from my female colleagues from across the divide.
Okay.
So that you have, but each of us are struggling in our own in our own spaces. But the thing that we overlook, which I want to bring to the fore, is the fact that we share stories of how bad and how good it is. So then you know that you are not alone. For me, I'm speaking for Ablah Dzifa Gomashie, that I value that more than anything else you are bringing me. That you let me see how bad the situation is in your constituency prepares me for if I'll get that. So you've given me such
shock
shocks.
absorbers.
So I laugh over a lot of the things that happen in my constituency,
right?
Because I've seen some in other constituencies.
Okay.
Sometimes more on my side, from my side than others. Other times more from other people's side than mine. But altogether makes it easier because you are not alone, and you are in a deep hole where many people have been, and you see how they lift themselves out of it, and that's really empowering, and you can't put a price on that.
The whole point of this conversation is to encourage more discussions about gender and women participation and representation. So in your final take, how do you get yourself out of those challenging moments when you get there? You're a family woman, you're a member of parliament, you're a businesswoman. How do you reconcile all that and still stay afloat without sinking? And some young people might be watching us now and think that we are doing magic, but it's really not magic.
No,
so what is
magic.
it?
It's a drive. It's a drive and a passion. Passion you cannot transfer. So if you're passionate about something, and you know that, look, I used to like wearing high heels, and I know that when you're growing older, you can't wear them anymore, and then you have to shift, and you're wearing thick blocks so that it's about not falling down. It's not about looking pretty. It's about just carrying on. So if you compartmentalize it and know that it shouldn't be just when you're a politician, though. It's just how I've managed my life.
Okay.
At one time, I can have 3, 4, 5 jobs or things that I'm doing, and because I know that, you just have to learn how to cut some things out.
Cut some things out.
Oh, cut some things out. I mean, you can't have a deadline and still want to go and sit at some sports and enjoy Fia or Becca, whom I love, these two young ladies that I love, just to enjoy their songs, or because I love reggae, and now I have an adopted son, Bino Ayoni, singing reggae. So I'm going to say that.
Your colleagues are posting selfies from a trip, and you have to save for that examination as a young person.
Absolutely.
Not to buy the latest iPhone, but to invest in a skill.
Seasons and times. Seasons and times. There was a time that my son wanted to watch a football World Cup.
Yeah.
And he was preparing for his the exam that takes you to SS.
Mm-hmm.
And he was and I said no.
BC.
Right. And I said no, you can't watch TV when your teacher is on his way here. You have to put that television off and go and study. The playback may not be as fun, but at least the fact is still there that this team won. Just learn to segment and draw boundaries.
Cut some things out. That stuck with me now. Cut some things out. Yeah.
Look, very soon you will retire too. Very soon there's some things you can't do anymore. Gone are the days I used to stand on stage and dance for 3 hours. Today, try 30 minutes. I'll be panting like a fish out of water.
Ablah Dzifa Gomashie.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Sweetie.
Thank you. I've enjoyed myself.
It's fun watching you and
Benjamin.
Yeah.
Benjamin Akakwo.
Yes, you hold your own.
Thank you.
So keep going. And it's one thing I tried and failed.
What? You failed?
I wanted to read the news, and I tried getting into GBC in 1984 or 85, and I didn't make it.
But here you are now.
Listen, and that's one of the things too. You see, when doors close, don't focus too much on the closed door. Start looking for which door has opened and go through that door. Don't hold yourself down.
Fail forward.
Yes.
Fail forward.
Look at me, walking from Art Center to Placido to rewrite my O-level.
And here you are.
Here I am.
Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you for indulging me. Are you not tired of hearing the story?
No, we are not. And hopefully we get a chance to do this again. Ablah Dzifa Gomashie was my guest on this episode of Women, Power and Politics. And the one thing I'm taking out, I hope you've taken something out, is cut some things out. You cannot do all things and be all things to everybody at the same time. Thank you so much for staying with us. We'll be back next week with more coming your way. Thank you.
I congratulate you and commend you on your bold initiative to improve the lives of the women.